Hey everybody, it's Commander Clyde. Welcome back to another patch notes review. Haven't done one of these in a while. I think I missed the last one. So let's rectify that right now. See 8.6 here, Dark Enchanters. But before we get to that, we gotta check the 8.5 bonus real quick, which will be live next Tuesday. Anyway, going straight into items, enhanced purple buff. The enhanced purple buff provides a large damage increase above the rest of the enhanced options. We are decreasing the attack speed provided from the enhanced portion only to bring these enhanced effects closer to each other. Decrease attack speed from the enhanced portion 15% to 10%. There you go. Gilded Arrow, because of the popularity, they're going to scale back the gold gain per successful target kill from 10 to 7. Its strength was simply too effective. And then Ornate Arrow, also going along with that, gets a decreased gold percentage gain from 20 to 5%. A big, giant nerf right there. 75% of it is just gone. That's a big deal. Of course, what does this do? You might be saying it encourages other build options in some way. And with that, Diamond Arrow decreases the bonus gold per minion kill from 10 to 7. Decrease the bonus gold per god kill from 30 to 21. There you go. Executioner is core aspect, especially with the crit build. And because of that strong combination, the attack speed has been decreased from 25 to 20%. Because you're already getting it from Wind Demon. You're getting some from Wind Demon. You're getting some from your boots. Just want to keep you from being able to stack too much of those stats. Okay, Atlantis is settled in underperforming spots, so they're going to increase the physical power from 25 to 35 to make it a better option. Same with Aussie, increased physical power from 20 to 25. This item has a great combination of stats. But it is, however, seeing little use right now. There it is, Starter Bluestone Pendant. They have seen the error of their ways, making it too much of a sustain item. They're going to decrease the HP 5. Oops. That was a little bit silly. And Brute, decrease bonus damage from 75 to 50. There you go. Reinforced Shoes and Greaves, which are effectively the same item. This is magical, this is physical. The CCR has been toned down because 20% CCR is kind of silly on this item. Just, that's a lot of free CCR. That's half of the possible CCR you can build. And there are some other items that also have 20%, so you could be there in 2 items. That's a little unbalanced. And a little bit of a tweak to Persephone since her kit's been changed. Decreased bite and magical power scaling from 50 to 40%. I'm not going to read all this block of text here, but you know, figuring out the new kit, blah blah blah. Not sure what to do with the new things. It's going to be very tentative adjustments to her until the point comes where they can determine a stable performance level, and then if there need to be big nerfs, they will come later. It will probably take at least a full patch cycle from now for them to figure that out. Gilgamesh is getting some quick nerfage because he's just a little bit stronger than they intended. So his one Sunforged Scimitar, slow duration decreased from 2.5 to 2 seconds. Dropkick, burst damage scaling decreased from 65 to 55%, and bonus damage scaling decreased from 25 to 20%. There you go, King Arthur. Steadfast, that is the passive, decreased damage mitigation from 1.5% per stack to 1% per stack, because this is a mega popular pick right now, and they want people to quit picking him every game in the SPL because it's really silly. That's really all I can say. Everyone wants to play that god all the time, so they're like, yeah, this is kind of stupid. Heimdall has been a fun god to watch, and he's also getting picked almost every game, so the Vigilant decreasing Heim's crit strike from 70% of the total bonus damage to 65% of the total crit damage. And Bifrost getting base cooldown increase from 14 to 16 seconds. Quick adjustments, just to make him a little bit less effective later. And Ymir Ice Wall increased cooldown from 12 to 8 seconds to 14 to 10 seconds. Probably because it persists for a long time. And he's also getting picked quite often. So yeah. Anyway, on her, Slayer of Enemies, increased cooldown on Desert Fury from 75 to 90 seconds at all ranks. This change is completely fair because it's CC immunity and it's a lot of damage if you hit it. And with his pick level, with the level he's getting picked at, yeah, okay. Totally down with that. It just makes him way too safe. Do Hunter builds have any cooldown in them right now? I don't remember. I don't think currently the main build has cooldown in it. This kind of makes his ult better than the other ones because it's just a shorter cooldown. And it's also a very short CC immunity cooldown, which is incredibly good. So big nerf. Anyway, things about Athena and Reach. We're going to change things. Decrease reach is scaling from 35 to 30%. Decrease reach is subsequent hit scaling from 25 to 20%. This feature always existed but was not documented. We rewrote the whole description to better describe this as well, more clearly. Describe damage. What did I read? Let me try that again. We rewrote the whole description to better describe this as well as to more clearly describe the damage Reach does as a multiplier on her basic attack damage rather than a scaling on. But what the hell, guys? What happened here? Who wrote this? Like, I can't read this. This doesn't make sense. On her bot power. What? Excuse me? English? Anyway, Confound is getting a damage decrease at the higher ranks. Just get rid of the damage. There was no point to this change, dude. Just get rid of it. Anyway, okay, we're gonna get off of that. Go to the main stuff here. Okay. There we go, the Dark Enchantress. Morgan Le Fay, or Morgana Le Fay, which is what I'm actually more used to because I've read books pertaining to the Arthurian legend. So yeah, alternative spellings for that. Morgan would be the full anglicized version. Anyway, we're going to read the abilities, even though can't necessarily fully understand them at the moment. No, because there is not a play demo. I will not be able to do one until Friday. So then comes the fun stuff. Anyway, here's a passive. Empowered Blade, Morgan Le Fay. That Morgan Le Fay's abilities. I'm having a difficult time here. Mark enemy gods, also activating the shared symbol on her sword, providing magical power. Once her sword has gained all 5 symbols, Morgan Le Fay becomes empowered, gaining double the magical power buff and reducing the cooldown of consuming power by 10 seconds before the symbols are all drained. Magical power is 2 plus 0.4 per level for each symbol. Empower duration is 10 seconds, mark duration 30 seconds. You'll see each ability has a unique, well, almost all of them have a unique symbol, sigil thing. If you hit a target with it, appears over their head. And then you do empowered things. Very fun. Anyway, Sigil Mastery. Morgan Le Fay summons a crashing magical sword imbued by a sigil of her choice, which is briefly carved into the ground. Enemy gods hit are marked while the sigil causes secondary effects. Mark of Mind, fearing enemies from the center of the sigil. Mark of Body, creating a slowing field. Mark of Soul, spawning a decoy that detects enemy gods hit for 4 seconds. Inner damage 65 to 185 plus 55%. Area damage is 40 up to 100 plus 35% of your magical power. Fear duration 1 second. Soul field duration 4 seconds. Slows 35%. Cost is 50 to 70 mana. 10-second cooldown. And these are all color coded. Each one has a different color. This Mark of Mind is purple, body is green, soul is red. And the way it works, you press 1 and then you press your 1, 2, or 3 after that to use one of these guys. And there you go. I believe that is how it works. Very similar to how Tiamat's ult functions, except this is not an ultimate ability. So. Well, anyway, I should specify her ult in flying stance. It works basically the same way as Morgan Le Fay's one. So, there you go. Dragon Flight. Morgan Le Fay summons a dragon apparition which bursts from the ground in front of her, dealing damage and knocking up enemies hit. The dragon then flies forward, dealing damage again and knocking back enemies. Applies Mark of Spirit to enemy gods hit. Area damage 50 to 130 plus 35%. The dragon damage is 75 up to 175 plus 50% of your magic power. Cost 70 to 90. Cooldown 16 down to 12 seconds at max rank. And what this does is the cast area is a inverse T. So that means you have a horizontal block line in front of you and then another vertical one in the middle, which the dragon flies through. So the dragon comes up in the rectangular area, then he flies forward in a line. If you hit the center, you will deal damage. You will deal damage with both areas if you can cast it in the middle of the line. If you just hit the area damage on either side, then they just take that damage and get knocked up. And that's it. Anyway, here is 3 Shroud of Wildfire. Morgan Le Fay dons and sends forth a cloak of wildfire, damaging enemies and stomping on enemy gods. On expiration, the wildfire explodes in an area, leaving a 4-second debuff on enemies that continues to deal damage. While this debuff persists, enemies that use a movement ability combust, taking damage again. Morgan Le Fay gains movement speed for using this ability and can extend the debuff on enemies with continued basic attacks. Applies Mark of Matter to enemy gods hit. And what they mean by movement ability is dash or jump, or leap rather, is the term used in game. If you do that, you take bonus damage. Anyway, here is initial damage 80 to 200 plus 30%. Damage per tick is 5 up to 25 plus 5%. Bonus damage is 60 up to 180 plus 20% magical power. Movement speed you get is 16 up to 24%, and I believe that is only for hitting a target. I don't think you get it unless you hit something. Buff duration is 4 seconds, costs 60 mana, cooldown 13 seconds. Consuming power is the ultimate, and this is where the marks also come into play again. Morgan Le Fay rises into the air, consuming the marks on enemies in front of her, dealing damage and empowering her next strikes. For a short duration after Morgan Le Fay can fire out 3 devastating strikes of dark energy, dealing damage and providing a missing health heal per enemy god hit. Initial marks consumed increase the width of enemy projectiles. Subsequent heals per projectile are reduced by 50%. Mark damage. When you consume a mark, is 25 to 85 plus 5%. Projectile damage is 90 up to 250 plus 40%. Missing health heal is 11 up to 15% of your missing health. Scaling down on subsequent hits. Duration 4 seconds, cost 80 to 100. Cooldown 90 seconds. She's also CC immune during this, since that was not pointed out here. Anyway, here are recolor, and mastery skins. Purple is cool. We like purple. This is cool too. It's all pretty cool, honestly. Very good design. More things on Friday. So the PTS may not be on Friday. I don't know at this point. Anyway, update show. Fay update show bounds of skins. So they've separated this a little bit because earlier today they were doing a tribute to Finch on the SMITE game Twitch prior to the Morgan Le Fay show. So they were only able to do that for today. Anyway, June 1st, bonus update. June 15th is the live Dark Enchantress update. And then June 29th, 8.6 bonus. Quality of life. Mute copyrighted music. I don't really need to explain this, but yeah, it mutes instances of copyrighted music in the game. Which the main issue is with the Monster Cat update. Pausing. Normal games can now be paused if and only if a player disconnects. This follows the same rules as ranked pausing. All types of game pause will now have a short internal cooldown on unpausing to prevent players from accidentally canceling it. Ooh. You know, that's very nice to have that. Now, if you DC in a normal game, you are not screwed completely. You have a chance. Spectator. Fix an issue where towers would show immune text repeatedly. Okay. Roll trade. Fixed an issue where duplicate rolls could be awarded. Roll queue. Players will now keep their roll priority points even if the lobby fails to proceed to a match. Which it was doing anyway, to my knowledge. Free rewards. Fix an issue where the rewards button can show even if there was no reward. Wow. Ranked. Fix an issue where the TP gain will also be shown with plus minus as opposed to just one symbol that was relevant. Fixed an issue where MR gain loss will be shown as 0 even though it had been gained or lost. That was hotfixed though the day after the last patch. General gameplay. Vine walls. God abilities that allow passing through player made walls will now allow them to pass through vine walls. Yes, because it acts as a weird thing. Fixed an issue where foliage and trees was not hiding during aerial ultimates. Yeah, there were some abilities that could not actually pass through the vines, which was very bizarre. Unintended. A bunch of god bugs. I really don't want to read the bugs. Let me just... Game modes. Arena. Cthulhu's hold over the world has faded and the arena map is returning to its previous Greco-Roman art. Classic Joust. Blah blah blah. Moral of this. I'm not going to read the whole block because I've already read it. But anyway, main point to get across is they're rotating back to the classic Joust map, and I mean the classic Joust map from prior to Season 3. With your 3 buffs per side, straight your lane with your tower and Phoenix as normal. And all that, they've done some things. They've done some changes to pace golden XP, make it feel better, blah, 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 all that. We'll also have a... the buffs will be... The red buffs, specifically, will be enhanced eventually at some point during matches. And they also allow you to deal bonus structure damage because they wanted to... try to alleviate the objective camping problem that the old Joust map had, where it was incredibly difficult to take Phoenixes. Anyway, with that, it'll replacing the Joust map and all normal and ranked queues for 3v3 and 1v1. Both Joust maps will be available for customs, however. All changes here apply to all 3v3 and 1v1 modes unless otherwise specified. Increase XP split bonus from 0 to 0.5. Lane Minions Classic Joust now uses the same base stats for Lane Minions from Season 7, including their rewards and stat scaling. Lane Minion stats and rewards now scale every 1 minute. Jungle Camps added pre-timers to all Jungle Camps. Jungle Camps now use the same monsters with base stats and rewards from Conquest without their abilities. Jungle Camp stats and rewards now scale every 2 minutes. Jungle buffs damage increased physical and magical power by 20% plus 10 magical power and 5 physical power. Mana grants plus 25 MP5 and 10% cooldown reduction. Speed increases movement speed by 15%. At 10 minutes both damage camps become enhanced, additionally providing 30% increased damage to enemy towers and phoenixes. Phoenix HP 5 has been decreased from 40 to 10. And the map art has been updated. Benevolence was providing GP5 starting at 0 seconds, which created some extra options when opening builds. If you waited in Fountain with it for some time, now players will need to leave the Fountain with it, and the time needs to be above 0 before it will start gaining this benefit. Fixed an issue where Benevolence could provide a GP5 benefit and still be sold for full value. Oopsie. Anyway, here we go. To Mask. Basically gives you like nothing. They've increased the cost to 70 gold, but doubled the mana and HP from 50 to 100. Everything else will stay the same cost-wise. Fighter's Mask. Straight up buffs to that, straight up buffs to Rang does, and then straight up buffs to Protectors and Lonos. Lonos increase health from 50 to 100. I should breed these, that's important. Increase physical power, and there's 30 to 40, magical power from 60 to 70. And then here we get physical power from 60 to 70. Increase magical power from 100 to 120. Decrease damage dealt, increase from 20% to 15%. Decreased damage taken, increase from 20% to 15%. This is pretty massive. That's kind of a hard buff. I mean, 120 magical power. This is fun though. Lonos Mask, increase health from 250 to 300. Increase damage taken, decrease from minus 20 to minus 15. Increase damage dealt, decrease from minus 20 to minus 15%. Increased healing done, decrease from 20% to minus 15%. Because these items are incredibly underutilized, they want to make them something you think about. You may not build these very much. These items are pretty much exclusively casual items. Don't build these in ranks. That's really not a good plan. Transcendence, decreased cost from 2600 to 2450. Strong potential for assassins and hunters alike, but it struggled to see play because it's hard to invest in because it's very expensive. It takes a while for it to see any use. This toll increased magic power from 25 to 30% to make 30%, just 25 to 30, excuse me, as a total buff to magical ADCs because they have been struggling in play somewhat. So there you go, little helpful. Emerald Ring, Enchanted Ring, and these get now provides 5% attack speed. Enchanted Ring increase attack speed from 10 to 15%. We're continuing with that logic. Helping magical ADCs, decrease cost of Ring of Ikati from 2600 to 2500. Increase magical power from 80 to 90. Man, I don't know if cost is really that prohibitive. I mean, it's an item that gives you a lot of power and a really cool passive for 2600. And you don't have to stack it like you do trans. So, I mean, that's fine, I guess. Anyway, Vampiric Shroud. Increased magical power from 25 to 30. Decreased cost from 750 to 700. Which was apparently done in 8.5, but was undocumented. And basically they wanted Vamp Shroud to be a better reward for bruiser mages or mages looking for early safety. So we're talking like Anubis and Anubis. I don't know who else we're talking about, to be honest. But yeah. And then more stuff about Reach's description. They just want to make sure you understand this, even though we read it in the bonus update. But okay. Here you go. Opwash, low mobility mage that relies on slow zone control and sustain from his passive to hang out. And sometimes it's not enough, and it's hard for him to run out there and deal damage because he will die in about 3 seconds. That's really the best way I can describe that. Anyway, general, increased base health from 400 to 450. Increased base physical protection from 9 to 13. 9 physical protection at level 1. He doesn't... Bro, how does he even stay alive anywhere? Like... Yikes. And empty the crypts, decrease cooldown from 100 to 90 seconds. Puts it in line with other ultimates. Anyway, Artemis, slight buff, stronger early game for suppress the insulin, increase base damage from 80 to 280 to 90 to 290. It doesn't do a lot. Her lane pressure is also really bad, so just a little buff. That'll help her. Last notes, horse rings became 8% more aerodynamic. And the scientists have pushed that further. But this is a meme, whatever. Fracture is increased dash range from 35 to 40 units. I think that just keeps him in line with other movement abilities. So it's easier for him to catch targets and not get outpaced by a dash that does have 40 units. Anyway, Hu Yi was a high contention hunter that has fallen from that position over the course of Season 8. A boost to Ricochet's damage should give him a stronger early game potential, and this bonus can be multiplied, of course, by the triple hit. Ricochet increased base damage from 75 to 255 to 85 to 265, 10 power everywhere. Ease and not may fade away, decrease cooldown from 20 to 16 seconds to 17 to 15 seconds. I would prefer this not happen because I hate this god and I hate this ability and I wish she wasn't in the game. Anyway, Kumbhakarna, he took a power nap, he's ready to go. They want him in the game. Here is Throwback getting increased base damage on the initial hit from 70 to 350 to 90 up to 350. So that will buff ranks 1 to 4. 5 will be the same. So we get 20 power, 15, 10, 5, and then no change. Groggy Strike is getting its top end buffed, so we get 5 power. So here we go from 5 more power to 10 to 15 to 20 more power, so it's the inverse. There you go. Should see him around more. Mercury's getting his 1 buffed because his clear is kind of awkward and his less damage on his ability makes it hard for him. Basically a lot of other junglers can clear a lot faster than him. So Meiji Look increased base damage from 70 to 210 to 80 to 220. Merlin Dragonfire Sing update. This is just a quality of life consistency thing. Not really a big deal. Dragonfire will now go on cooldown immediately instead of waiting until the end of the ability's effect. This effectively buffs the cooldown by 3 seconds at all ranks. And to that end, they are increasing the cooldown by 2 seconds at all ranks, which will be an effective 1 second cooldown decrease. There you go. Anyway, Rom's the last hunter here, because he was a very effective top pick, and then they changed how his ult works and some other things. Danzaburo got released. People figured out that Heim's completely stupid. And then suddenly nobody wanted to play Rom anymore. And so Rolling Assault is getting an increased scaling on the bonus damage, shot from 25 to 30%. And Astral Barrage is getting increased base damage from 180 to 520 to 180 to 540. So the thing as before, rank 2 gets 5 power, 3 gets 10, 15, and then 20 extra power from previous. And finally, Vulcan short buff, Magma Bomb gets 10 more power. Woohoo. should help him compete with other mages, they say, with the Merlins and the Raijins and the Kukulkans and all the other things that you find in the mid lane typically. And there we go. Dark Enchantress 8.6. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below if you want. As always, check the links down in the description. And I'll see you guys next time for some more Smite. Have a good one.